Peace. Getting up. Time is 9:11 East Coast Standard Time. So-called June 23rd. My timeline a little different, y'all. I'm going off. Well, my timeline is just here. Me being as I am. Being the timelines is what really the energy they manipulating. And Gregorian wise, you're gonna say it's 2025. But ether time, ether dealing with the natural and the bot time, the internet, is a different time. Like right now, people say it's 2025, is in the 2500s, okay? And to count them days up, my checkpoint was April 27th. So April 27th is 34 plus 23 is 57. 57 plus 25, 20 is 2,577. Okay. Hold on. Wrong. Uh, one day is the 30 days of April. Let me just say 4. Okay, so 4 is plus 35 plus 23 is 58 plus 20. That's 2,578. You add that up, now you're in the year 6,000 because it's dealing with a split. Split is dealing with the grid. We're dealing with the 8. The other side of the grid, or past the universal line, the Greenwich line, they're dealing with the 9 right now. So, meaning anything right side of the grid, they're saying these beings. When the ether was hitting over there on the side of the grid, they start seeing more giants on the land. Okay? That's what's happening. Because the cell is not saying that they're dead. Most of them seem like they're frozen in this type of stone, right? That stone, that stone is called graphite. That's what they're using in the air to manipulate the solar flares, because the graphite ties to the chemical structure of snow. The snowflake, the ice crystal is pretty much Isis magic. Okay, so when it ties back to different beings that you see in mountains and these certain type of stones, they need light to activate, but a certain ether to activate, because that's when they were last living. So if anything, there's a heartbeat or a vibration to a lot of these rocks and frozen things, because frozen was just bringing it to a lower state of matter. So that's tied to rocks also and crystals. It's just the graphite is tied to the snowflake. Okay, so a lot of these beings, a lot of these eggs that are looking like rocks, they just waiting for a certain light to hit the cell inside that solid, and it's going to mutate and be reborn. Just like a lot of you are being reborn once that light hits you. Okay. That being said, during this activation, I told y'all after this is we're in the snake portal. It's gonna help you see what you need to before this Lionsgate portal. Because that Lionsgate portal is really the snake portal, okay? But it's the Lionsgate portal. The only reason I say it's the snake portal because in the Gregorian time, they use something called a hedging method. And the hedging method deals with reevaluations and surveying, and then them doing the same thing to see what kind of effect they're gonna get. They always do it 3 months ahead. So really, when it's June, it's March. So June is really spring. August is really summer. Okay. Okay. That's why the energy actually denotes higher as you go into October. It's just they making it cold off that summer. Okay. It's manipulation. It's just they need more heat to create that cold. So the activation is going to actually deal with the emotion that's tied to your root. So if something happens, it's going to be activated by fear and anger. But the thing is, it's going to be subconsciously activated. I'm only speaking of this because I already seen something 2017, and that's what really got me on trying to look at other things differently because I've never seen through a fucking wall till that day. Me seeing through a wall put me on this path. I could never find any animal or anything that matches up with it. It took me years. Then finally, I heard a certain video and was talking about North Carolina where I'm at. And it was talking about a big, huge X flare hit around 2017. So boom, starting to click things, coming together. So the sun was actually, the X flare hit the dome, which that's when some of that light came through. But it came through as like a laser form, and it came through the wall, whoop de whoop. Next thing, it hit me, but some seconds later, I saw through the blanket, through darkness, through the wall, through the door, saw the other roommate put their key inside the key, turn the key. I'm seeing the key turn. And they open the door, turn the light on. My face is like this. They like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, bro, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. And she was like, well, you put it like that, then don't tell me. And she walked in the room. And she just got off work and shit. Peace, peace, peace. And that's what I'm saying. Them diamonds, right, ties to the graphite. See, when they put in this graphene and calcium carbonate, that's a formula for the Go nanoparticles. That's what I think the calcium, yeah, the calcium Go ties to the nano particles, which are the damaging agents in the environment. Boom. Okay. Variant already tells you your DNA sequence is changing. Any though it says any damaging agents in the environment dealing with DNA sequence. It's a DNA sequence right now because the sun, which is the delta, is denoting a higher energy. And when the sun is denoting, it denotes it, it does it for 3 years, and then it flips. The pole flips. Now it's the ground denoting that energy, which is the rise, and then it flips another 3 years. And then it's the sun. So 2017 to 2020, that was sun. 2021 to 2024, that was the Kundalini rise. Okay? Now we done flip right back to the sun. Okay? So my theory is, well, actually I'm not even gonna say theory. It's just when I speak about time, you can't get caught up in what I'm saying time because I'm just describing the energy. Okay? It's just I can say it's this year 2577, but we're in the year 2025. But it's reflecting uh, a different parallel because the linear time just kind of like branched off of the original time. So now we're going back to the future, meaning we're going back to original time. It's just we had to go backwards to go forward. Okay, we already passed that checkpoint 2024 in the beginning of the year when I made that video, Butterfly Effect Mandela. That's my two first chip, and I started drawing out things. Some of it may be wrong, but it's absolutely right if you've been paying attention, because you're gonna know when I made a mistake, and it's gonna come back up. But getting back to point, the activator is gonna be from the root because it rises from the root. But the thing is, you most of y'all might not even seen your power. My shit ties to some Sky Daddy shit slash Superman, from what I've seen, to slash I don't know, like an avatar. Because as you're taking in water, fire, earth, and air under the sun, it's going to change your blood. Okay, you need to be doing this because those cells or those elements within you is going to express itself, and you're going to understand those elements just because you possess those elements and nothing else manipulating. The things that's manipulating is the parasitical invaders. So if the parasitical invaders has been manipulating your body and your thought, because once they attach to the cell, they're attached to your communication tower. Okay, because you're pretty much a satellite. And all these suns and moons and planets, all of those are satellites. They're called dwarf planets or satellite moons. Okay? Dwarf planets are the same thing as moons and suns. They they communicate, they send off signals. Signals is communications, and signals are frequencies. Just because you heard a loud pitch doesn't mean it didn't have a message to it, because it translate into a word. It's just like if your mouth was closed and you were trying to tell the next person next to you what you're trying to say, but you're just like, mm-mm-hmm, mm-mm-hmm. Just because that sound, you were saying get me out of here, but all you heard was mm-hmm. You didn't hear the actual word. But that sound can translate into the words that you heard, and you like get you out of here. Yeah, it's just like a text message. A frequency gets sent, and then it shows you what it said. It's just like when you ground, and when I say I put things in the ether, I'm saying I'm grounding, and that energy is rising into the air, and my thoughts are being put into the air from what I already knew, subconsciously and knowing. When I say subconsciously, I talk about a knowing. Like, my perspective may be different from other people's perspective, but that's just my spirit, right? I say the spirit deals with the perspective because the perspective deals with the mood. The mood deals with the energy, okay? So you can be in good moods, good bad moods, good spirits, bad spirits. All from your perspective creates that spirit, okay? If that perspective is not of yours, then you possess another spirit that's not of you. So to get back to yourself is to get back to your perspective of truth that matches the soul, okay? Because it's a and B when the spirit is corrupted, okay? So now that brings you back to your sacral area dealing with your abs. You're operating the heart and lower. You're supposed to operate in the heart and higher because everything lower is going to be operating in the heart and higher, meaning your root energy, your sacral, and your solar is matching what it's supposed to match. When it's not, there's a discordance from above and below when you're operating from the heart and down because it's a loop. There's only the heart and down because it's not going anywhere. There's no rebirth. The truth is supposed to be a rebirth. Now, when you have it from the heart and the root, that's like a 3-6 9, but there's no rebirth. Gotta have a rebirth. Okay, so I'm getting off topic, but look, so I said the eighth ether started April 27th, and the next gate is the Lion's Gate, which is July 27th going into August. The thing about that is the real Lionsgate portal is Halloween. So when you hear anyone talking about walk-ins and shit, that's the same every 3 months, 4 times a year, because the planet goes into a higher state. It's a 3693 within each state. So now we're in the eighth state, 8 years in this cycle. Now we're dealing with carbon 8, the density level, the density consciousness, the eighth dimension, but is merging with the physical state, meaning that the sight that you see is changing, but they're going to manipulate that because the certain gases in the air can also make you hallucinate. Okay, so you might look at someone else and think they're someone else, and the whole time they're not someone else. It's kind of like the sweet tooth thing, and then it's kind of like Justice League, because Justice League explained it all when it's talking about these gases in the air. And then if you get a little deeper, you look at this show called Doctor Who. Doctor Who was pretty much like the high priestess that worked for the world, for America. That it was American scientist, and he was like a timekeeper also. But Doctor Who, right? On the show, they actually show the formula that the Greys did to control the world type shit. And even from that little air symbol I showed y'all, how Gemini is really uh, talking about connecting above and below. And Libra is the magnetism, and Aquarius is actually the symbolism of the charge. Okay? So all three together creates a certain device that will stop these niggas. From what I seen of the show, it confirmed something that I already drew in my job orientation. We was dealing with AC units, and I started making my own air science. But A through H explains how the light works in physics. I believe it was physics. It's just like 7, right? The 7 settled completely April 27th. So that means it's the 7th and higher. Okay, but we're dealing with the 8th and higher because we're really trying to denote that 9 ether by next year. And this is when they're going to try to manipulate some shit with the moon. But before then, it seems like we're going to deal with a blackout, right? And it's the blackout because as they try to block this shit, either way, even if they didn't block it, the solar flares that's coming off fucks with radio communications, whoop-de-whoop, all types of stuff. But it's also enhancing your radio communications, meaning your telepathy, your connection, your pretty much connection to nature, because the moon only manipulates the ground and the waters. And that's dealing with the output. When it's dealing with the input, it's dealing with you, meaning your body and the waters within you. Also tying to your blood and all extra stuff, all the elements. Okay? So that's representing Ma energy or Gaia, right? Because the moon represents the waters and the ground, just like feminine energy. Okay? So now you have the sun representing the air and the fire. But the moon can only manipulate the person who doesn't know thyself, thy energy, and thy enemy. Obviously, that enemy been using the moon to manipulate shit. It used to be a third sun. So if they're using that to manipulate the grounds and the waters, but in reality, it's not just the grounds and the waters and nature, because when you to get to you have to literally mess with nature to mess with you, because that's a input to your output. So even if they're messing with the grounds, they're messing with you. And as they keep doing it too much, it's going to start bothering you even if you're not thinking about it, because it's literally you. Okay? This is what's going to happen when your consciousness start coming back. You're going to be like, bro, what the fuck? Because it's literally you. And you're going to start defending it. It's just you thinking you can't do shit is going to be a blockage. But then when you start unlocking things and start using your own consciousness and how to manifest it, like say if you just wanted to move some shit with your hands, like I be moving clouds, and it's to the point it get real scary. Like real scary. Like it's not even that I'm doing air magic or air science, because really all I'm doing is manifesting from my hands a thought. So, but the end of the day is it's not really that, because you're using all the elements at the end of the day. So when you think you're doing some air shit, you're also using fire, water, sun. You're using all the other elements. Period. So me, I developed it off of connecting to the sun, because when the clouds is up, you can still feel the sun with your hand if you can find it and match it to the degree that is laying it, because you're gonna feel that heat, and that heat ray is within your hands. That's the same heat. So the sun is literally within you. Okay? It's just when clearing up clouds, the sun has to be connected to you. Meaning, if it's cloudy and you can point out where the sun is, just knowing that's good from just paying attention to nature. Because without the clocks, you're gonna see the position of the sun and know what time it is. You can use the position of the moon depending on the positioning of the time and find out the direction you need to proceed in, which is a delta. Delta represents a denoting energy in the direction it proceeds in. It's just like telepathy. If you try to communicate with this person down there, you will have to focus on them and send that thought. And it's going to go in the direction it proceeds in. Period. The direction it proceeds in is east and west. North and south is interdimensional. Everything else just deals with a rotation. It's just like if you at center, you rotate your body, you going in another direction. Is that you really going north? Because I thought north was up, you know? You hop off the porch, still looking north, you still looking at the sky. Are you looking ahead of you? No. Alright, I'm getting off point because it's going to have me talking about some other things and it's going to randomly say something that I didn't mean to say. But really, I'm just on here to smoke my blunt. I'm just telling y'all, when this blackout happens, there's going to be an activation of the crown. Oh, that's where I was going. Okay. I said April 27th was the snake portal, and August 8/8 is the Lionsgate portal. Okay, but April 27th goes into May 8th. It always goes into that 8th, into the 12th. I say it's up to the 19th, but a lot of people say the gate is closed after the 12th. I say to the 19th, 21st. Okay, so being that this is supposed to be the snake portal, that's on Gregorian 3693 or 36912. Next month's supposed to be the snake portal, which is the Lionsgate portal, and then the Lionsgate portal is really Halloween. that time during Halloween. That being said, the snake was what helped me realize, other than the sun, the snake helped me realize that power that I saw when I saw through a wall. The thing is, it's not going to be a power anymore. It's going to be common sense. And for you to activate it, it's going to be your common sense. So I'm telling you, yeah, you can act. It's going to activate off that you being scared, but you're going to be mad because you ain't going out like no bitch. And even if you was a pussy, it's not going to be that. You're not going to be a pussy no more. This energy is going to be your energy, but it's just going to hit way different. Okay? It's going to be a defense mechanism. And that's all it is. People trying to activate certain things. You not even ready to be in that energy because that's what creates the villain and the hero. And that's going to happen with certain people, but that's what creates the villain and the hero. A person knowing their power and not fully understood it. That villain didn't fully understood. That hero, he developed his own science about it. Just like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, people like that, scientists. They developed that science because, come here, boy, don't run over there. Because, why you walk like that? Ah! But yeah, so the superheroes always had the science to their power. At least most of them. Just fuck to me. That's my little security guard. Get off my car. All right, so the thing about the snake, okay, the snake represents this right here, this pit. This is the fire that I